Please, Speakeasy podcast listeners, now listen. I know you've been tuning in and turning on and pressing play to listen in for this particular Life After COVID series on the hashtag Speakeasy podcast. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate everybody's comments, the DMs. Y'all been blowing me up. So guess what? We are still going strong. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the information that you need. This is Altaviz Pelzer, your host, your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. Woo! What a day. Okay. But that is A-okay, guys. I'm excited about my guest for this episode. Erica, hey, how are you doing today, sis?
I am doing so well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. I know that your insight and input when it comes to what we've been through in this last 12 months, man, it has been a whirlwind. But being able to let people know that there is life after, and we got some better and bigger things that we can achieve. I'm excited about that. So Erica, tell the studio audience a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into today's topic.
Yes, for sure. So my name is Dr. Erica Steele. I am a holistic doctor in family practice. I have been in natural healthcare for 19 years. I have 6 degrees in my field, and I've treated over 30,000 patients in the Virginia Beach area as well as worldwide. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I knew 2 things when I was a little girl. Number 1, I wanted to be a doctor. Number 2, I wanted to be self-employed. So I've owned 5 different companies. I've been a general manager, as a professor. I've just really lived my life, balls to the wall, saying yes every single day. And, waking up unemployed, and by the end of the day, employing myself. So I'm really, really excited to be able to share insights on my journey with everyone.
Oh my goodness. So that part, being able to say that you were unemployed, and then by the end of the day, you were self-employed. That part is really significant because, man, there are a ton of emotions that go through your head in that 24-hour time span. Right. But what did that kind of look like for you, Erica?
So I think for me, number 1, I'm not a really good rule follower, right? I have both my parents were Marines. My dad was a drill instructor. So, I kind of they were right and I went left. And so I kind of knew that those traditional corporate structures were just not going to be good. I'm not a good employee, right? Mostly because I'll get into an environment and want to make it better, but they're like, no, we don't want you to make it better. We just want you to you need to be in the assembly line and make a little tchotchkes. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a faster way to make these tchotchkes. And I feel like we're losing money. And, I'm also concerned about, the toxic chemicals we're using on these tchotchkes. And I don't want to put my name on it because I don't, I have a moral issue, so I all of a sudden, I'm human resources worst nightmare.
Right. I'm sitting over here going, yep, that was me.
Yeah. Or I'm the person in the room, and I've been in this so many seminars and stuff like that, and different trainings and stuff like that. And, and they're all like, this is the certain way you have to think and la, la, la. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. I hear you. And then I'm like that girl. I'm like, hold on. I have a question. So I start off at the beginning of the room. And then after a few things, I realize, I need to know where the door is so I can run if something breaks off. So with all that being said, I knew that I had to take my life into my own hands, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's amazing because money doesn't just, we live in a capitalistic environment, good, bad, or indifferent. We need money in order to eat, clothing, shelter, but not even just the basic needs. But I have a certain lifestyle that I choose to live, that I want to live. I live 2 blocks from the beach. I drive a luxury car. I travel worldwide, every 3 months, right? I love living a big life, right? So there's also an income cap right, that comes with being employed.
Oh, yeah.
And so knowing that I'm not a rule follower and I'm not a good structure person like that, I'm not good at being told what to do, and that I have a certain lifestyle that I want to live, and I also don't want to live to work. I want personal freedom, right? And you can only find that in entrepreneurship, right? However, right, you start a business and it's not like all of a sudden, the bank account gets filled up, right? My first company, I was 17 years old. I'll never forget. I just got out of massage school. I partnered with these chiropractors and started a company called Need a Massage Company. And I thought it was so cute because, it was Need, K-N-E-E-A-D. I was super fresh. So, but I was painfully shy, right? And I wasn't self-assured. So I thought marketing, and I worked on these like jujitsu guys or whatever, and they would invite me to like their matches or whatever. But I was so painfully shy. So my version of marketing was going and sticking my cards on the table and like hoping somebody would pick it up, right? So needless to say, that business failed, okay? But I learned something about that. I go, okay, I need to learn how to get out and market and talk to people. So my second business, that's all I did was talk to people, right? But then my personal life, I went through a divorce. My personal life fell and I got depressed, and I just was like, I was on the Epic campaign and I just let it go, right? So then I lick my wounds. I go back home. I go back to California. And then I started another business, right? Intermixed with teaching and stuff like that. And so I think the message here is about resilience, number one. Sorry, there's planes that fly over. I think the first message is really about resilience, number one. But number two, it's like, living in possibility and living out of your imagination, right? Mm. So in the beginning, when I opened my business, this practice, right, like, there was no reason to balance my checkbook because there was no money in there, right? Like 0 divided into 0 still equals 0.
True indeed. True indeed.
So I stopped looking at that because it was kind of depressing, right? It was depressing to keep looking at all these zeros, right? And I was marketing and getting out there, but coming from California to Virginia and being a naturopathic doctor, like, it was a culture shock, number one. People were not, this is like home of deep fried Twinkies. I didn't even know you could deep fry as many things as could be deep fried. I was like, Oreos, really? And so people like, oh, it's good. I was like, so, being a health doctor and not a disease doctor, really having to be a pioneer in the area, right? So I had to wake up with this belief, unwavering belief and confidence that this was going to be mine, right? That I was going to do this no matter what. So I started telling myself, okay, Erica, you're unemployed, right? I just wake up unemployed, right? And so I have to hustle, because in the beginning, that's all you have is hustle. There's no strategy in the beginning. There's no strategy. There is like, somebody wants to pay me for something, oh, you want, body work. Oh, you want nutrition. Oh, you want, like, it was just kind of, I was totally living in this very fearful, very lack consciousness, very like, I'm not worthy, give me all, give me everything. Right. Until I started to really define myself and go, wait a second. Okay. So I'm making, $1 over here and $10 over here and $20 over here. Right. But I'm not really making what I want. Right. So I had to really refine myself and define myself and get really super clear about what I wanted. And it was amazing, as the more clear I got about what I wanted and what I wanted to create and manifest in my life, then it became easier. Then I wasn't waking up unemployed. I was waking up with people already, their credit cards already being processed. I was waking up and I was already in the green. And then it just kept going from there. And so that's really where the future is. It's passive revenue stream. It's working not harder, but smarter and making more money, and to be able to really have the lifestyle that you want, because that's really what it's about. It's like, the days, sorry for those people who are still in an office, but the days of sitting in your office, okay, tied to a desk in a cubicle, no windows, like, I don't know anybody that's like thriving in that kind of environment, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it's mundane, it's drab. Yeah, I guess there's a 401k at the end of the tunnel. I guess the health insurance, may be nice, but I can buy all that myself and it be on my own terms. So that's kind of where that all originated from. It was really like, okay, what kind of life do I really want to live? Not just what kind of life do I need, but what kind of life do I want?
That's so important. I think one of the things that you said that I want to harp on is wake up green. And, when we think about what life after COVID looks like, listen, okay, there were some things that did not go right. There are some things that did not happen for us. There were some doors that were shut clean in our face. But we still had the opportunity because we still woke up again.
Yep, exactly.
And so I think that part, you can't pass up that part that you're here.
No, exactly. I mean, we really, all of us got a reality check. All of us got a timeout. There's moments in my life where I've had God's timeout, because again, I'm not a rule follower, right? So that translated to all areas of my life. And sometimes God had to say, you're doing too much. I need you to go sit down somewhere. Oh, you don't want to sit down? I'm going to make sure you sit down. Oh, you sitting down now? Oh, okay. You listening? You're listening all ears? All right, good. I mean, that's real. I thought I knew surrender at one point in my life. And that was 10 lessons of surrender ago. Right. And I was like, oh, that's right. Cause I was a doctor really young. I was a doctor at 24 years old. So you couldn't touch me. I was like, I'm this, I'm that, and I was humbled, rest assured. I almost had to take it away like that. I was like, oh, okay. I get that this is your kingdom and not mine. I understand all of this, right? And so I really feel like, sorry, the plane again. I feel like 2020 was really God's time out for everybody to assess and evaluate what is most important. Okay. And so in that evaluation, what did you do at that time? There's still people, unfortunately, that, and there, no judgment, do what you do. But there's some people who got the unemployment, got the stimulus check, and they're still about to get evicted, right? Because the moratorium's ended, right? And I hear you, and I understand in circumstances what it is, right? But if you don't come out of this thing with something tangible, right? You did not make good use of your time. And the only person that you can blame for that is you, because you didn't use the opportunity. Yes, I mean, I lost money. I lost a lot of money 2020, but I was able to look at my systems and go, okay, so how can I reinvent? How can I pivot? How can I use this to my advantage? What opportunities do I see? How can I foolproof? They closed the gyms, of course, right? Well, I was like, oh, my mental health is built off of a gym, right? And so I went and bought a whole gym for my house, right? And I'm fortunate to be able to do that. But now it's I also cut down a 30-minute commute, because 15 minutes to the gym, 15 minutes. So I just saved, how many hours per week, because I go to the gym every day, right? And now there's no excuses for me to work out. Sure. Now I could have been like, oh my God, but I used it as an opportunity and evolved. And so I think if we just think from a resilient space, it's do bad things happen? Yes. Do bad things happen to good people? Yes. Are things out of our control? Yes. Are we powerless? No. We are not powerless over what we do with these opportunities and these experiences. So I truly believe, sorry, there's planes. I'm powerless over the planes. We truly believe that it comes down to how we view the world and how we feel about these various things, and finding our voice, finding our truth, living our passion. If you want something bad enough, you are going to get it. I don't care. There is nothing that can hold you back. I mean, literally, when you're first starting out, your business has to be an obsession. My business was literally my obsession. Morning, noon, and night, I could not stop thinking about it. Everything was about it. I wanted to fix things. I wanted to make things better, refine things. I went through evolutions in my business, growth, all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, right, was I serving people? Was I serving God? Was I serving myself? All of these things were super important to me. And because of that, I'm reaping the benefits. Was it hard? Hell yeah. Did I have my butt handed to me like 1,000 times? Yeah. And when you're self-employed, what I really love about self-employment is, number one, you can't blame anybody else but yourself. And number two, you know, those mistakes are expensive. So you're not making those things again. It's like, oh, okay, I just lost what? Okay, all right, cool. I'm not doing that one again. Got that one. I'm gonna workshop that out.
Exactly. Like that lesson is learned. Okay, we're gonna check that off of the list.
Never again. Oh, okay. So every device salesman that comes in the door, stop. You can email me. Mm-hmm. I'm not interested in a conversation. Email me and spell it all out. How much is it? What does it do? How is it going? Because I've already been down that road, right? And so we can learn from these instead of being paralyzed and victimized from it. And so I think that's all very important.
I love that. And of course, with you being a holistic doctor, I can't have you on the podcast and not talk about, one of the articles that came out about there being literally 71 million Americans that gained weight during COVID. Mm-hmm. And it falls in alignment with what you were talking about, because I think a lot of it was stress eating. Yeah. And let's just be real. Let's take the Band-Aid off, you guys. This is life after COVID. Let's take the Band-Aid off. Mm-hmm. We need to have better habits.
Correct. Yeah. The throat is a two-way channel. Either you're going to express yourself, communicate yourself, communicate your needs and wants and whatever emotions you feel, or you're going to eat. You're going to stuff it down. Bottom line. And I think a lot of people use COVID as an excuse, but they've been doing this all along. They've been doing it in a different capacity. The only difference between pre-COVID and after COVID or whatever is that the refrigerator, there was no obstructions to the refrigerator.
True indeed.
And so it all begins with a mindset. It all begins with your emotional health and well-being. You eating is not going to take COVID away. You eating is not going to get your job back. You eating is not going to get your husband to leave you alone. Eating is not going to help the kids, stop, running amok around the house, right? But your voice will. You communicating your needs and your wants will. And I find it so interesting. We, especially as women, we are so conditioned to suppress our communication. And also to try to placate everybody else around us and make everybody else feel comfortable from our own self-sacrifice. That doesn't work. I have moms that I treat that come in and I look at their food diaries and I'm like, really, a grilled cheese sandwich for lunch? We can have adult meals now. Do you understand? I'm like, oh, you're doing a turkey sandwich. What was your side? They're like chips. And then I'm looking at the kids' school menu and I'm like, wait a second, they had turkey sandwich and chips and carrots for lunch. What happened here? I think that we as moms, we tend to think about our kids first and foremost at our own expense, honestly.
Indeed. I think that's like a really bad learned behavior. It is. That is so hard to break. Yeah. It is so hard to break.
Yeah, and many of us have been conditioned to believe that, caring for yourself, number one, is shameful. You should be guilty for that. You're and it's more dogma and more from religious organizations that have portrayed that, right? But God didn't want you to not take care of yourself. It's biblical. We're given one vessel. It is our responsibility, each and every one of us. And what is amazing is that when we start to model this behavior, our children actually follow it. They're like, oh, mommy's doing this. Instead, you're being a false prophet and you're telling them to eat their vegetables, but you're steady eating, cupcakes and God knows what. These kids are woke. They're looking at you going, oh, okay, lady, you want me to eat veggies, but I'm sitting here watching you eat this bag of Doritos like it's your last meal, you know? And so you really, you know, you want to model the behavior that you want to teach your children. And then with the husbands, right? Like, you know, or partner, significant other, it's 2020, so whatever your flavor is, it's fine, right? But your partners in the home, like it is a team effort. It is working together as a team. And I know some of you guys have partners that aren't necessarily on the same wavelength, right? And that's all fine and good, but that doesn't mean that now you have to deviate over to the dark side. You know, you can do what's best for you. Yes, it may be a little more challenging because you have temptation, right? But there's so many different tools out there that can help with addictions. There's so many tools that can help with, you know, like meditation and yoga and all kinds of different EFT. There's so many different modalities that are available that you can literally Google to be able to help combat some of those things. So, yes, I do think, and I also think it's fascinating that the people that were most affected by COVID are those that had comorbidities, hypertension, diabetes, cardiometabolic conditions, completely preventable lifestyle illnesses, right? And so this is hopefully the year that people wake up and realize that they only them can take their life and their health into their own hands, just like your business, right? Businesses come and go, but your health, if you don't have your health, forget it, right? And so the other piece of it too is you can't expect a doctor to fix it. Okay. That is not a doctor in Latin. That word means teacher. Our job is to teach our patients how to live a healthy lifestyle. So check this out. If you go to the doctor and he looks like he is 7 months pregnant, okay? No, that is not your doctor, because he is not healthy, okay? If you feel like he's about to have a heart attack in the exam room, that is not your doctor, okay? If they are not sensitive and conscious to your ethnicity, there are many things that Black America cannot do that European America can do. Dairy is one of them. We cannot consume dairy products. We don't have lactase, the enzyme to break down lactose, milk, sugar. Stop drinking milk. It does not do the body good. Cut it out. Stop it with the sugar. You can't do that. You know, so there are different things. And the thing is we know these things. People are going to fall out on the floor if I tell you eating fruits and vegetables is the key to good health. Oh my gosh, that was the greatest podcast in the world. She just told me I need to eat fruits and vegetables. Whoa, that's a breakthrough. No. No, it's common sense. If it's God made, eat it. If it's man made, stay away from it. Man does not have a good track record of trying to make stuff better. Okay. Like, it's a little interesting what's happening. We get creative and we're like, oh, let's fix this. Look at GMOs, heavily toxic to the system, contributing to multiple autoimmune conditions. Our bodies do not understand what a GMO is. These food-like substances, our body doesn't understand what it is. So of course you're overweight. Of course you have autoimmune conditions. Your thyroid's a mess. You know, you have diabetes, hypertension. You know these things. And then the other piece of it, just because I have to say, most of y'all are not long distance runners. Most of y'all are not working in the fields for 10, 12 hours. You need to stop with the high fat Southern diets. Stop it. You are tearing your livers up. See, a high fat diet, what is it? The fat back and the pork and all that stuff. That was fine when we were working in the fields for 10 hours a day. But we're not doing that manual labor anymore. You're working in an office for 8 hours a day, sitting down. That's not going to work. You don't need a high fat diet anymore. So we've got to break these addictions, especially in the mouth, to be able to get people to actually realize how sick they're making themselves just with their diet. You change your diet, your health significantly changes just with the food alone. You don't even have to buy a supplement. You just change the way you eat. So I think a lot of people hopefully listening to this really make some realizations, because it's not going to get any better. The health of this country is not going to get any better. And you know, there's a lot of interactions with a lot of medications, but they're happy to give them to you. You know, you want to keep eating unhealthy, that's totally fine, but we got a pill for that. And then we got a pill for that pill. And then there's a pill for this pill. And then there's a whole family of pills now. We got a whole slew of them. I have some of the 20-year-olds coming in on 13 different medications. 13 medications, and you're 20 years old. It's got to change.
I remember when my mother felt ill, and I had to take her to the hospital, and we had to, they're like, oh, well, is she on any medications? And I literally just handed him a bag, because I was like, first and foremost, her did not go to medical school, so her did not learn how to pronounce 90% of these medications.
Correct. Or know how they interact,
or what they do. And they were like, oh, well, this one is this, and this one is because of the side effect of this. And I can't.
Okay. And ask your doctor about that one. You ever wonder why they have that in commercials? Ask your doctor. Wait a second. Shouldn't my doctor already know this? Why am I asking my doctor about a drug? Wait a second. What really killed me during COVID, this was really funny, I swear. So at the time I was in a condo and I had my Peloton in my living room, right? Because I didn't have anywhere else place to put it or whatever. So I had my Peloton in the living room and I'm sitting there watching like TV or whatever, like Hulu, right? And they came up with this commercial, right? It popped up on Hulu. And it was like feeling blue, feeling sad. Is your antidepressant not working? Ask your doctor about Boost Bar, because that's going to help boost your current, antidepressant medication. So I'm like, okay, let me see that. You guys close the gyms. I'm stuck in my house. I'm watching TV. You just put on a depression commercial. How do you know I'm not depressed? Just because I can't leave the house? But whatever. So now I'm sitting here watching this, and then now you offer me another medication? Oh no. I got on the Peloton. I was like, oh no, I'm cycling from now on when I watch TV. We're not doing this anymore.
This would not be the way that we go.
It's all the subliminal messages, right? It's like, what? And so I think for 2021, I'm dropping fear. I'm going for it 110%, right? This is my year to get it done, no matter what. I licked my wounds in 2020. I had to reassess everything that was important to me, near and dear to me. But 2021, we're on. That's it. There's nothing stopping me or any of these people that we are a container for right now on this podcast, because it really depends on us in terms of how the future is going to go. And so I hope that all of your listeners recognize how powerful they really are. Each and every one of us has an infinite amount of power. They just have to access it and tap into it. Your doctor doesn't have the power. The government doesn't have the power. Your significant other doesn't have the power. Your kids don't have the power. Your boss doesn't have the power. Your 401k does not have the power. It is you and you alone, because you are a powerful creator of your life. It is you that is creating all of this. So if you don't like what you see, change it. The only person responsible is you. So I'm hoping that all of your listeners really take those words to heart and make a shift in their life, because otherwise 2021 is going to be here and gone, then 2022, then 2023, then 2020. It's not going to stop. The calendar's not going to stop. And in fact, if you notice, it's getting a little faster.
Definitely.
Flying by. So you might as well make the best.
So many gems during this episode. Like Speakeasy listeners, I know that y'all had to have some moments where you paused and rewind, because you was like, ouch, 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 because that was the bricks that was coming through the airways as you was listening to this episode. You were just like, ouch, 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 ouch. Listen, I caught a couple bricks too, because I was like, at the beginning, I was good. Then about midway through, COVID, I was like, I'm not doing my walking as much. I'm not doing this. And then I saw that scale started to creep up a little bit. I said, oh, not today, Satan.
Exactly.
Not today, Satan.
No.
For me, 2020 was the year that I started doing the intermittent fasting. And I definitely tapped into eating more vegetables. Because I was that one. I'm Speak Easy listeners, listen, I'm honest. I was that one. I'm a snacker. And brownies is my thing. Fritos.
The chili cheese ones.
But I had to know that I can do stuff in moderation.
Yeah.
Like I'm not eating a huge bag of M&Ms with peanuts and some popcorn and this and that. I'm doing things in moderation, but I'm also working out. I'm still, eating more vegetables. I'm making sure I'm drinking my water. I'm taking aloe. I have my vitamin C.
Yes.
Like you go ahead and you get into a habit.
Yes.
Because what I can say is that, and this, this is my transparency. At one point, the focus was to look for the easy fix.
Yeah.
The easy fix was the protein shake.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about what I'm eating if I have a protein shake.
There you go. Hopefully it's not a whey protein shake.
Come on. Because I didn't know there was a difference at one point.
There is a difference. Whey is dairy. Y'all are addicted to dairy, boy. I'm like, no. And they're like, what? Even cheese? Yes, even cheese.
Yeah, cheese is, I think, the last piece of it that I'm kind of like, okay, we on this long goodbye. We on this exactly. We've already switched over to almond milk.
Yes.
I'm pescatarian. My youngest daughter is vegetarian, but we do like a lot of vegetarian dishes.
Yeah.
Kind of, we mix it up.
Yeah.
We do a couple things. And I think that was one of the things we implemented like a year or so ago, 2 years ago, was Wacky Wednesday. Nice. And Wacky Wednesday was, we tried something new. We tried something from a different culture. We tried a different, even if it was a dessert, it was just trying new things.
Yeah, exactly.
And that helps a lot, because I think one of the things we think about is when it comes to saying, I'm going to eat healthy, or I'm going to eat a vegetarian diet, I'm going to eat broccoli and sweet potatoes.
And broccoli and sweet potatoes. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, and
a little bit of corn, on the side.
Yeah, and a lot of people too, they'll go default to the processed foods, right? So like the Beyond Meat and the Morning Star. And, I was raised a vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian now. I'm more of a pescatarian. And back in the day, Morning Star was a very small company. They only had like two things. It was like the griller and the chick patty. And then they came out of the chick patty. It was like, whoa, but most of our diet was fruits and vegetables, right? A little bit of beans, a little bit of, I don't think we did quinoa back then, but lentils, things like that. Like that was most of the diet, right? But you still need to be mindful of your protein sources. And a lot of the vegetarian protein sources are also high fat. So you really got to track it and really make sure that you're getting your macros properly. And there's a more intuitive way to do it as well. It just depends on what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. If you're happy with your weight, you don't need to get super, super strict. If you want to lose some or you want to optimize something, then tracking is really important, just so that you keep yourself accountable and conscious to what you're putting in. Otherwise, it's free range and not in a good way.
And definitely not in a good way. Speakeasy listeners, this episode has been phenomenal. Oh my goodness, this is probably one that I'm going to go back and listen to like a good 5-10 times myself. With that being said, Erica, let them know how they can reach out to you for more information, or, where they can find you at online as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. holisticfamilypracticeva.com is our website. I'm on all the social. I'm on Instagram as Dr. Erica Steele. Also, I'm on Instagram as Holistic Family Practice. Facebook, Holistic Family Practices, as well as Call Dr. Steele on Facebook as well. So Facebook, Insta's a lot. I'm on Twitter too, but I'm not on there as much. And LinkedIn, of course. I mean, all those fun places.
I love it. Speak Easy podcast listeners, I appreciate each and every one of you, because without your listeners, there is no Speak Easy podcast. So let us know how this particular episode resonated with you by leaving us a review on your favorite podcasting platform, or you can come join the conversation. bit.ly/World Voice Community is the free Facebook group. We would love to have you there so we can hear how this episode or another one resonated with you. Guys, we can do this. This is life after COVID. And not only are we able to have a successful life after COVID, we can have a healthy one too. With that being said, I appreciate you. And until next time, don't forget to press it out. See you guys.